Tutorial. Today we're going to improve our image slider. So in one of our last tutorials we created this image slider, which works pretty well, I guess, but it does not look very special or very good. So I will show you some CSS tricks, and we also make our slider changeable in the size of the width and the height. So let's do it. Okay, so at first we have the border. We can create whatever we want here. So we make a 5 pixel border. This has 3 parameters. The first one is how the border is created. There are a lot of different border styles. So if we make it dotted, you see we get another style of a border. The second parameter is the color. So we say FFF. We won't see anything because our background is white. But of course we can set this to black, and we will see our border. So I set it, and the last parameter is the width of the border. So if we set it to 10 pixels, it will be 10 pixels. It looks a bit thick, I guess. So let's set it back to 1 pixel, and we set it to white, not dotted. We set it to solid, and let's go back and reload our page, and we see nothing because our background is white. So we want to have a box shadow. So we create a style called box shadow, and there are 5, normally 5, or in a different kind there are 6 parameters we can give. So we say 0 pixels, 0 pixels, pixels, 0 pixel, the third parameter, the fourth parameter, and the fifth parameter is the color. We set this to white. No, we set this to black, and it should work. What I will show you is what the first parameter is. The first parameter is the offset from left. So if we set this to 5 pixels, it will set our shadow 5 pixels to the right. So we should see a shadow on this side. So let's do it with 10 pixels so that we can see something. And you see we have a box shadow of 10 pixels here. And of course we see our border. If we set our border to 0 and reload, you see this is the shadow. Okay, the next parameter is the same. It's an offset, but not from the left to the right side, it's from the top to the bottom. So if we set this to 10 pixels, it will get our shadow 10 pixels to the bottom. So if we reload this page, you see our shadow is on the right side and on the left side 10 pixels. Of course we can set this to 20 pixels, and it will look a little bit different. And you see it's the offset from the top and the offset from the right, from the left. So let's set this to 0, and I'll show you what the fourth parameter is. Fourth parameter is like a offset from the inside out. Yeah, it pushes from the inside to the outside. It's like a border. You will see if we set this to 1 or 2, we will get a black border after our white border. You will see 1 white. This is our white border, and then we have 1 pixel the black border. but this is not the border, this is a shadow. Okay, if we set this to 0, you will see that we have a border or a shadow in every direction that is 2 pixels. You see? Okay, let's set this back to 1 pixels and this to 0 pixels. And I will show you what this parameter is. This is the blur. So if we save this, we will get a black blur in every direction, 25 pixels. Okay, don't see very much, maybe set it to 50, so that you will see a little bit more. You see the shadow on every side. And if we set here 10, you will see that it looks a little bit more like a shadow in every direction. So I set it to 25 and 5, save it. I think this looks quite fine. Okay, now we can go to the edges. We can make a radius here. So we say border radius, and we can set this to any kind of pixels. So the higher the number, the more it looks like a circle. So I will show you. It makes a radius on the edges. Okay, our image slider works pretty well, I guess. And of course, we have a picture that is 500, and if we had a picture that is 500 to 500 width and height, and we set our border radius to 500, our picture would be a circle. So ours is not 500 to 500, so it isn't a circle, but it would be a circle. It's very easy to get circled pictures. So I set this to 12. I think this looks pretty good, I guess. Okay, let's move on to our JavaScript. And as you see, we set our image width with the parameter width on the image. I guess this is not a really good idea. So maybe set this to class, because we set this multiple times. You see the for loop, so we set it multiple times. Make it ENG, and I will show you how to get an inset shadow on an image. You can't set a box shadow onto an image tag, but you can make a div that's on top of the image tag and create here an inset shadow. So we call this class and set this to img shadow. All right. I will change this because this is not quite true. Okay. Source. No, this is source. It's okay. No problem. I just wanted, but it's okay. We have our div here now. If we save this and go here, let's create 2 new styles for 2 classes, one for the image and one for the img shadow. Perfect. So let's save this, and our image is bigger. Yeah, because it doesn't have a width. So we set our width to 500 and everything should work quite well. Yes, it does. Perfect. But as you see, we have a problem. Our pictures are away instead of our first. So I guess I can show you our images. Yeah, we make the visibility the overflow visible, and you see that our images are one under another and they are not longer in a line. The problem is that we have inside of our thing we have now our pictures and 4 of the divs that we just created here. And this div has no absolute position, so we set this to absolute and everything should work, because now our div is on top of this. Alright, now we can do some specifications. Okay, we need to we can give here the border radius to the a little bit less than our border radius on the slider, and then set a box shadow. And now we have 6 parameters. We don't have 5. We can set our 6th parameter and say inset. And when we do this, nothing happens. This is because our elements yeah, it's true, because this has a width and a height, and this div hasn't a width and a height, so we need to set our width and our height. So we say width equals to 500 pixels and height also to 250 pixels. And as we do this, our shadow, you see our shadow is under the picture, and this is not really good. So we need to set top, not to do. We need to set top to 0 and left to 0 and reload. And you see we have a shadow over our pictures. It's quite good, so we can make visible hidden. And we have a shadow multiple times. Yeah, maybe we should just delete this here and copy this, and after that we say we create our div just one time. Div class ENG shadow, and close this, div, save this and reload. Yeah, and you see there's not that much shadow anymore. Yeah, and now our buttons don't work anymore because our shadow is, our div ENG shadow is over our buttons. So we need to set the set index of our buttons to whatever high number you want. I set it to 99. Yeah, reload, and it should work quite fine. And you see we have a shadow here. I don't like the inside shadow, but you see you can make an inside shadow on pictures. I guess this is a really good idea. Or maybe you need it sometime. I will delete it, reload it, and let it like this. Okay, and now we will create our height, our changeable, our sizable image slider. or create our changeable image slider. So we have our slide width, and we create a slide height. Set this to default to 225. We have set this to 500 to 205. The image, we don't set the height, because if we would set the height, it would be, I show you, it looks terrible, because we need to set the height and the width of the picture before we start with the when we get it into our image slider. So here we have just the width, and here we have on our image shadow we set the width and the height when you want it. Otherwise you can delete it, of course. And our slider window, we set a standard width and the height to 500 and 250. So now we need to set our ID slider window, and we say .css. Now we set the width to slide width. Copy this, and we say height to slide height. I don't like it. I need to set this to camel case. Okay. And now we copy this 2 times. 1, 2. Delete the height, because for our picture we only need to set our width. So we copy our ENG tag and our class name, and of course it's not a ID, so we don't have use a hashtag. We use the dot for our classes, and of course we need to set our ENG shadow, and it's of course it's a class. Shadow. Perfect. And now if we save this and reload, everything should work quite fine. And if we change the width of this image slider, everything should work fine. And of course we can change our slider height. And you see, we can change the height and the width of our image slider dynamically. I think this is pretty good. It's useful. So if you like this tutorial, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know in the in the comment section below. Of course, you can write me on Twitter or write me an email. And if you have an idea or you have a problem and you might think I should solve this in a video, then write me, and I'll see what I can do. So I wish you a good night, and we will see us again next time. Bye.